Let's get a scooch.
The CNC connection.
It'll give you a chemical bond.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Stand Up Second Sunday here at Comedy Sports. My name's Aaron. I will be helping out on door. I also have Carissa, who has been helping you get checked in all day. If you need anything, just come find us. We'll be selling during the acts, but be hush hush. A couple things to get out of the way. You consent to being streamed by being here. We are streaming this to Zoom followers all over the world. If that bothers you, have a lovely evening. Other things, this is a safe, non-heckling space. We don't be rude to the students, we don't be rude to the pros, so no heckling. Yes?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you need anything, you know where to find us. And without any further ado, Carl has been teaching here at Comedy Sports for several years. He's been doing comedy, going on his tight 5 decades, all over the world, performed for everyone, kings, peasants, paupers, and a lot of great people in Pamplona, Alabama. Give it up for Carl Wolfson.
That's one of my lines in the Deep South. I had to perform in Pamplona, Alabama for the Running of the Redneck, so it was very fun. Thank you for laughing at that. It's going to be a good night if you like that one. How are you tonight? Good?
Yeah!
Thanks for coming out to Second Sunday. Our headliner is a great friend of mine, and he's been doing it 41 years, 45 for me. That's 86 years of comedy experience between us. So if this show sucks, I don't know. Art Krug is the man. Give him a round of applause. Also, Catherine Cushing on the show tonight. And Bill DiStefano, ladies and gentlemen. Great state of New Jersey. I am the oldest person you're going to see tonight. Well, on stage. I'm the oldest performer. I don't know about when you go home. You might have some ancient people there, but no, I'm so old, my husband wants to replace me with Kamala Harris. That is how old I am, ladies and gentlemen. I started comedy in January of 1980. 1980 when the Koch brothers were Jim and John Belushi. Thanks for getting that. You missed it. You could have been 2 for 3. No, you got that. Oh, you were around in the 80s?
I guess I was.
Okay. Oh, my agent. Thanks for that. For a couple months. How are you? This kind of reminds me of the 70s. You got like a 70s tie-dye shirt.
I do.
Yeah.
I got a place called Australian Aboriginals, which used to be down by Skidmore Fountain.
Okay, thank you. You have the zip code for that? No, I love you. You guys are so Portland. I love it. You're so Portland. It's really, really good. I've got flashbacks to college and pot with looking at that shirt. I think that shirt is so old I was dating women when I wore that shirt. That's how old that shirt is. Oh my God. Well, you know, things are probably, I am nostalgic. Let me just say, I'm mentioning my age and how many years because I am very nostalgic about comedy and teaching, starting my 3rd year teaching here at Comedy Sports. And it's really fun to, we've had students from 19 years old up to 83, and it's just fun getting back and teaching comedy and seeing new comics blossom. It's really, really great. I was telling Arnold, I'm very nostalgic. I was on Alan Thicke show, Thick of the Night every week, and Alan passed away suddenly. I was on Joan Rivers every month, and Joan passed away suddenly. I kind of wish I'd been on The Apprentice, but thank you. I thought after what happened in Butler, I probably should. You know, I took that out of my act for about, 58, 59, 60 seconds, and now it's back. It's kind of an odd, it's so weird. Politics is just weird. I know that term is for Trump, and his running mate, but it's just so odd. I mean, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dines on roadkill, which hopefully in about 2 months he can eat J.D. Vance. It'll be really good. Any childless cat ladies here, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you. Woo! I'm a gay man. Virtually all of my friends are childless cat ladies. Including one of my best friends, Martha Jane, who lives in Los Angeles. She had the best names for her cats. Her best cat was Chairman Meow, big cat. And Martha was out in a nice little house in Hollywood. She's out in her backyard, and Chairman Meow's out there with his toys, and she hears a noise around the side of the house. She said, "Is baby playing with his balls?" And she hears a voice, "No, ma'am, I'm just here to read the meter." Thank you, J.D. Vance, for giving me an opportunity to tell that joke. Thank you so much. Any Trumpers in the crowd? I should ask if... Nobody? Oh, thank God. All right, that's good. It's just... I don't know, there's just certain parts of the country, we mentioned Pamplona, Alabama, there's certain parts of the country that I don't think get all the news, Like in Arkansas, you know what the #1 newspaper read, and I'm surprised anything is read in Arkansas to begin with, but the #1 newspaper in Arkansas, do you know what it is? USA Today. Which is like you're in 2nd grade, isn't it? It's like Joe Biden went to Europe. He flew on a big plane. He is our president. He does not like Vladimir Putin. Putin is a mean and nasty man. He is the real father of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah. Anyone from the South, I should ask that before. Oh, where are you from in the South? Atlanta. Well, that's an oasis, right? That's
Not really.
Not really. Well, she has her own story to tell. Sign up for my comedy class. People work out. It's like therapy. You can work this shit out. PortlandComedy.com. You can, you too, with that shirt and your Atlanta trauma, come into the class.
It's not really the South.
It's not really the South. I'm sorry. It's not really. Yeah, Atlanta's an urban area. I was actually in Tennessee for 10 years. I went to college there, and I'm very nostalgic. Actually, I mentioned I was dating women. I dated a girl, and it was 1971. I'm gay, but that's what you did, And I dated my friend Jamie, and she was great. And we dated for 2 years, and she dumped me, which was very traumatic when you're young. You're 19 or whatever. And she left me for a guy named Mike Coleman, and we were the top 2 journalism students, so it was a big scandal. And she was with Mike, lived with him for 3 years, and one day I heard they broke up. I was in a gay bar the next weekend, and there was Mike Coleman. She spent 2 years with me, 3 with Mike Coleman, and Jamie's my best friend now, actually, lives in Nashville, and she's been married happily to her husband for 40 years. And it's great. He goes, "I can't leave Jamie. I'll turn gay." The hardest thing, of course, was coming out to my Republican mother. Yeah. Anyone have a Republican mother? Okay, you guys, they're not getting a lot of answers here. Yeah, my mom was a trip. I took my husband and I celebrating our 27th anniversary this December. It was very exciting. So I think it was the year after we met, 98. We flew to Florida to meet my mother, and she's got Fox News playing in every room, and we're having dinner, and she looks across and goes, now which one of you is gay? And I'm like, oh God. This is going to be a lot harder than I thought. Which she followed up with, well, we didn't have homosexuals in the 1950s. And I said, well, somebody put the fins on those Cadillacs. Somebody did those beehive hairdos. Nah, this joke is just for you, because I tell it a million times and you just love it so much. Our lesbian friend Jenny, who also has a right-wing mother in Florida, she came out to her mother as a lesbian, and her mother goes, "What's next, Jenny? Heroin?" Lesbianism, the gateway drug. Okay. So the Olympics, pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah.
We finished up. USA did very well. Won a slew of medals, 40 golds, tied China. I think anybody enjoy the Olympics? Do you guys watch the Olympics? Yeah. I think my favorite moment had to be the French pole vaulter. You guys know about the French pole vaulter?
Yeah.
He could have medaled, but hit the pole with his pole. You didn't hear that?
No, I watched it.
You watched it? Oh, Grace, you watched it over.
Singing in my brain.
Yeah. I was just thinking there's 1,000 security people at the Olympics looking for suspicious packages. Nobody told him about this. You know? What the fuck? You know? It's true. I want my students to get out and do comedy, although I don't want them to have the experience of traveling to every corner of the country, because traveling now is just horrendous, isn't it?
Yes.
I think the worst flight I had was, I remember it was Valentine's Day 1990, flying into Chicago to play Catch a Rising Star. There was a blizzard, still a historic blizzard for Chicago. We circled O'Hare for an hour. The pilot came on. This is exactly what he said. He said, O'Hare has been shut. We've been diverted. We should have enough fuel to get to Minneapolis. Nuns are going, fuck. When you sit next to a nun who says fuck, it changes your whole attitude. You straighten up and fly right at that point. The second most harrowing experience, I was in a helicopter with Willie Brown, and no, it was LeBron James. I'm sorry, it was LeBron James. No, it was Frederick Douglass. I was in a... Did you not get that one? That was a killer joke. I wrote that today. Yeah, I wrote that today. Yeah, I try him out, my husband, who doesn't laugh. Well, he's been with me 27 years. He just like, you know, I said, he's pretty funny. I said, you should take my class. He goes, oh, I've taken that class. Yeah, 27 years to go. The dinners aren't as exciting as they used to be. You know, a couple weeks ago, we were having dinner. Gary goes, is there anything worse than hard butter? I'm thinking, genocide? I don't know. All right, are you guys ready to get the show started? I'm just an affable host, and we may have some Grateful Dead music for you, sir, later, and a travelogue from the '96 Olympics in Atlanta. We got everything. So I'm really pleased to present this show tonight, and joining us is a good student, fabulous comic, good friend, and I love him because he's from New Jersey, where I grew up, and I can relate to him, and I'm sure you can have fun with him too. Please welcome Bill DiStefano, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for coming out, everyone. Like you said, my name's Bill, from New Jersey, the Cleveland of States. I'm Italian, so you know I'm going to be funny. I don't think Oregonians really understand New Jersey. You hear us, you meet us, and you go, what the fuck is wrong with these people? I'm an Italian. The first reason is density. I don't think you all realize that New Jersey has 1,300 people per square mile. You know what you have? 40. 40 people. You know how easy it is to be nice when you have 40 people? I start jamming 1,000 in here, you're all going to get just as cranky as we are. More about New Jersey, though, is I think they misunderstand is because of that show, The Jersey Shore. Anybody see that show? Yes. You know the premise, it's about New Jersey. It's the shore. None of them are from New Jersey. It's New Yorkers just making us look bad. You got JWoww. I don't know what the fuck that is. What's a JWoww? That's her name. The other thing about it is the mob, right? Well, the mob runs everything in New Jersey now. And New Jersey has a lot of Italians, okay? So you're going to eat well. The mob runs everything, so everything's fucked up and under construction. And The Sopranos, it's true. In fact, we consider it a documentary. Now, I grew up in the era of The Sopranos, so I actually went to high school with some of their kids. And people used to hate watching that show with me, because we'd be sitting there watching, oh, here's John's house. And I'd be bricked, because they filmed it actually in my hometown. The thing that made the mob so entertaining, though, was the secrecy. The secrecy and the nicknames, but we're leaving it. The secrecy part made me laugh because I had heard when they went to name our state university, they go, the governor's like, New Jersey State, and the mob interrupted him mid-sentence and said, whoa, never use your real name. Call it Rutgers. Anything goes wrong, they'll blame Princeton. Princeton's the other big university we have. The other thing that I loved about the mob was the nicknames. Now, the mob, you have to understand, it's messed up, right? So none of the nicknames, because of the secrets, make sense. Like we had a bookie. His name was Nicky the Nose. Had a big chin. Sometimes they were even mean. We had a guy with that Papacia disease. They called him Tommy Two Tongues. He's telling me over there, put the mic closer to your mouth. How about this? Just kidding.
You gotta trust the gay man.
I do. I really do. Okay, well, the other thing that has been going on lately, and I don't know, I'm sure you all heard about the assassination attempt. And it was just when J.D. Vance had found out he was the VP candidate. Do you know what the first thing he said to Trump was? You were so fucking lucky that wasn't a Marine. I thought that would deliver better here. I went to the doctors recently. Found out I had sleep apnea because my neighbor filed a noise complaint. And I thought I'd be different and get a different type of. In Jersey, I had a doctor, and he had like 5 thumbs. And for guys who get the prostate exam, you know, that's a little frightening. When you walk in, see his hands, and go, fuck. Well, it's worse when she's got cold, small hands. Because apparently, if you have a short digit, you can't get to the prostate. So she's in there doing this. Ah, missed. What? What do you mean you missed? Oh. She did it like 4 times. Are you flirting with me? Because it's fucking working. She also informed me that sleep apnea, you know, puts on a lot of weight. I acquired man boobs. Didn't realize they were that bad until she said, I'm scheduling you for a mammogram. What the fuck are you trying to say to me? She's going, you're fat. So anyway, I know guys here don't really know what a mammogram is. You might, but you definitely haven't had one. I have. Ladies, do they know how painful it is, you think? Because I didn't. I go walking in, I see this big-ass machine. It's got these 2 nice little clear, soft-looking things. And then she walks me up to it, puts my breasts in there, and realizes they're not fucking soft. And she cranks down on it until I make a face. And I'm just sitting there going, son of a poop. Are you going to pop a nipple? Luckily, nothing was wrong with me, so we're good there. I was told to start losing weight, though. So I thought I will start exercising. Went out, got me a Fitbit, found out when you masturbate, it counts the steps. So I was forced to change hands. I don't want to gross anybody out, but 10,000. I was also a late bloomer. I didn't start smoking pot until I was 40. And I gotta tell you, when you get high at an older age, it is a weird thing. Because now all of a sudden you get all your high school friends' jokes. And you start calling, hey, I got it. And they're like, he's an idiot. I started doing some substitute teaching this year for special ed and stuff. I realized I'm a smarter man than I thought. Because I don't have any kids. That's the smartest fucking thing I did for myself in my whole life. Kids today have way too much power. I had a kid once come up to me and start breaking my hump about my weight. And I'm like, kid, what is it? You can't talk to adults like that. So kids again, they're brutal. I go online, they have this thing called trolling. I don't know if you adults are aware of trolling. I didn't. They have a game. Trolling is when they just cause shit. They just talk smack all the time to anyone. And that's a thing today. I'm like, okay, but if I start giving it back, I don't want to hear it from any lawyers. Let's see, what else? Oh, ChatGPT. Anybody do any AI stuff? Yeah. I love that thing. I ask it questions and it just gives me the most fucked up answers. Everyone says, oh, sometimes it's wrong. I'm like, you think? I asked it one time, it gave me an answer, masturbation. You know what the question was? What's the #1 sleep aid in America? I asked it another question. For sound suppression. What was the question? Why do we have fans in the bathroom? It's not to get the air out. It's to cover up the noise. Everybody does that. Whoop, don't want anyone to hear my gas. I answered another one. I says, well, what's the safest thing to do for your home if you don't want to get robbed? And it's about it. Keep it dirty. Be a hoarder. Apparently, thieves don't want to rip off the dirty houses. Like, hey, no wonder I've never been robbed. Let's see. I tried to come up with something on my mother, but, you know, everybody said, you can't say bad things about your mom. It's your mom. I'm like, I'm not talking about my mom. I'm talking about Betty. Betty's my mother's first name, and everyone there has two personalities. She has mom, and she has Betty. Betty and I met in 1959, brutally, because she, when she was 8 months pregnant, she decided to go play some baseball and show everybody she's still an athlete. Woman's 8 months pregnant, and I'm wondering why I'm a preemie. She also was she was only 5 foot, 105 pounds of terror. And the funny thing is, she's been dead since the 70s. I'm still afraid of her. That's why I didn't want to do anything up here tonight. I'm like, oh shit, I'll get home and like spirits will come get me. Let's see, one of the other items that I didn't talk about before was my Marine Corps career. Now, in the Marines, I was in the air wing. We call it swing with the wing. And I was a bit of a practical joker only because we were under Reagan. And Reagan, you know, nobody fucked with him. I mean, you went up to the leader of Russia to tear down a wall. That's pretty ballsy, right? So we had no wars, so I'm fucking around when I'm in the Marine Corps. That's actually where my comedy career started. It was in boot camp. I was told to do a routine for the officers because I kept imitating the drill instructors too well. Anyway, I was stationed at an air base way out in Utah. And apparently the Air Force has a very crack security team. And they always make fun of Marines when we come on base. So I decided, being from Jersey and a practical joker, I should even the score a little bit, show them, right? So while they're out, if they have any planes that have any kind of markings or anything that wasn't on there the day before, they actually have to clean the plane. So I thought, okay, great. I'm a Marine, they sneak in, I start slapping Marine Corps stickers on the bottom of the aircraft. I don't think they knew it was me, but I damn sure know they knew it was a Marine. Recently, I know we had that issue with Trump, and somebody tried to kill him, right? Well, every time that name comes up, I see Carl go, and I realize that name is just a noogie to you, isn't it?
Trump?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to someone, I said, why are you so afraid of Trump? I mean, you don't think he should be near the nuclear button? And they go, yeah. I said, well, his wife said he hasn't gotten close to that thing in years. I think that was my last joke, and I'm trying to come up with something I did earlier that I didn't practice yet. There was a joke that I heard, because I would like to listen to, like, you know who Joel Osteen is? Okay. Well, he always does a joke in the beginning of his services. And I'm surprised how funny the guy is. And I was going to do one of his jokes, so, you know, it's stolen. I took it from him. And he was talking about this accountant had to go around to all the cardinals, I don't know if they're offices or churches, but he would go in and he would see this gold phone. And above it said, talk to God, 25,000. It's like, what the hell is that? He goes, pay us 25 grand, got on a phone, you'll talk directly to God. I said, what? That was in Boston. Goes down to North Carolina, walks in. Same thing, 25 grand, talk to God. Of course, then he goes down to Texas, walks in, 25 cents. It's like, why is it only 25 cents? They go, well, here it's a local call. But I'm done, right?
Trump!
I can't talk too much more about Trump because most of it's just not fun. Let's see, what is it? I think I broke your mic, buddy. Let's see, the last item I was going to hit on was a mafia joke about, there was this guy, he owed the mob money, and he was deaf. And the mob decided to get somebody to interpret. It was a lawyer. And the lawyer's sitting there with the mobster, and he's trying to tell him to tell me where the money is, or we're going to kill him, right? The lawyer's trying to talk to him, he doesn't tell him. Finally, he breaks down after getting beaten and tells him. And he goes, well, where is it? The lawyer goes, he said, you don't have the balls to shoot. I messed that joke up, didn't I? I did. Trump! All right, well, I may call it there. Let the next comedian come on. Wonder why I was so nervous.
Bill Stefano, ladies and gentlemen! I understand what you're saying, Bill. I have a problem with it too because I'm a stand-up comic and Trump is both funny and frightening, right? And I decided early on I had to make it work for me. I was in 2016 in Richland, Washington. Anyone been to Richland? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. You can boo, Richland. It's okay. But I was having breakfast at a diner, and the waitress had a Trump button on, which is, make America great again, all that shit. And it was fine. I didn't want to start anything, so I had a nice breakfast at the diner. And she comes, gives me the check, and I gave the check back to her, and I said, Mexico will pay for it. So I ate free all week, which was great. I make it work for me. Now, to tell you the truth, when you do go to Trump country, like the South, it's a little bit more frightening, right? I remember, even with George Bush, I would do material. Remember George Bush?
Which one?
He Remember, like George W. Bush he's the happiest about Trump because now he's not the worst fucking president ever. Right? Because he's below USA Today. It's like, he used to talk to us like the hurricane is in the water. When the hurricane hits the land, there will be an emergency on the land. People say to me, when will the hurricane hit the land? When will it make landfall? Well, I'm the decider. I decide. So I did that bit in Dallas. And some kid just charged me after the show. And, you should listen to President Bush like he listens to the country. So I did. I tapped his phone without a court order. So he didn't understand it, so what the fuck. We have one Trumper in our family, also lives in Dallas. Aunt Fern, 95 years old. God bless her. I'm hoping for her death before the election. I gave her a ticket to Butler, Pennsylvania, for God's sake. Take a Trailways, Aunt Fern. But she's 95. She's always complaining nobody ever calls her, so I got her one of those "How am I driving" bumper stickers. And I'll tell you, it's a tough crowd. I'll tell you, very tough. Very tough. It's so tough, this crowd. Who was it? Was it Jennifer? God, it's hot in here. Are you ready for our next? One more time for Bill to step it up. Good job, Bill. Our next performer is taking a couple classes with me. She actually didn't need to take classes from me. She's a thespian. She is an actor, and a very good one, and a fine comedian as well. Please welcome Catherine Cushing.
Good to see you all, especially you people back there. I recently turned 69. Woo!
Heyo.
Yeah, I remember how funny that number used to be. Very sexy. Yeah. How sad, though, that I've reached the very pinnacle of sexy birthday numbers, but I'm no longer limber enough to enjoy it. 69. Sounds kind of old. Even if 50 is the new 40, and 60 is the new 50, that still makes almost 70 just the new 60, which is kind of old. But here I am, up here, living the dream. Finding my passion. Yeah, some might say inspirational. I might get a story written about me in Selwood Bee. Others might say I waited too fucking long to follow my dream. I could be dead at any minute, and if I really want to succeed at stand-up, which I think would be fun, I'll need at least a year or two of classes and workshops with Carl here, thank you. After that, free gigs, open mics, dropping in at the neighbor's barbecue, rolling out the latest 10 minutes or something. After that, another 3 or 4 years of opening for regional comics, maybe second or third billing on one of those cheap cruises to Mexico. But by then, maybe somebody has noticed. I've put in the work, I've paid my dues, maybe got invited to a late night show or two, and shit, by my calculations, I'll be pushing 80 before I'm even close to my Netflix special. Heck, by then, the only job I'll be qualified for is president. I have a lot of sympathy, though, for President Biden now that I am an honored citizen. And yes, you may call me Your Honor. Yeah, I've learned a lot about aging. I recently learned that mild cognitive impairment is different than dementia and also different from normal aging. So, for example, normal aging is you forget where you put your glasses. Mild cognitive impairment is you forget you left your glasses in the refrigerator. Dementia is, you forget what your glasses are. Now, I don't really see how helpful these distinctions are because in the end, the result is the same. You don't have your glasses. And just ask my spouse. I often don't have my glasses. I don't think I've left them in the refrigerator, but would I know or even remember? Anyway, where's my glasses?
They're on top of your head.
Oh. Yeah. Speaking of memory issues, anybody remember Kennedy's brain worm?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Huh. Well, the pace of politics is so blisteringly fast now that even 34 felonies are forgotten in days, maybe hours. To say nothing of the $4 to $5 million Trump owes E. Jean Carroll for sexual abuse and defamation. You know, I thought that brain worm would have kept our attention for at least a week. But since the brain worm, we had the felonies, we had the disastrous debate, we had the Democratic arm wrestling over Biden's competence, we have the assassination attempt, we have an entirely new presidential candidate. Oh, and did you know that that ear bit that got shot off, it's being saved as a relic at Mar-a-Lago? Well, it didn't take him very long to go after Kamala, though, right? Yeah, critics are saying she has a laugh like a horse. Well, I don't know, just me personally. I'd rather have a horse's laugh in the White House than a horse's ass. Yeah, well, while we're on politics, you know, a while ago, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that embryos have the same rights as children. So does this mean that embryos are going to qualify their parents for a tax deduction? Are they going to get WIC benefits? Are we going to have to pay extra to get our embryos into the movies? Can they sit on our laps in the airplane? And what about those murder mystery parties? Can an embryo be the corpse? Or better yet, the murderer? Did the embryo mustered in the conservatory with the club? No, I really don't think the Republicans have thought this through. You know, they're denying benefits to children right and left. Are they going to deny benefits to embryos too? Are the embryos going to have to pull themselves up by their little itty bootstraps? And what about when those frozen embryos turn 18? Do they get the right to vote? How is this going to affect the current political climate? Will they remain loyal to the right wing or defect to the liberal elite? Yeah, what about those frozen embryos? There are about 1.5 million embryos in the deep freeze right now in America, and only about 238,000 women currently undergoing IVF. That makes about 6 embryos per woman. Whew, yikes. They'd have to call us grannies in to save the day. But would implanting an embryo into this withered womb be considered a child of embryo abuse? Would eating Pop-Tarts and Cheetos and drinking Diet Coke be considered embryo abuse? And men, you know what's coming, right? In the immortal words of Monty Python, every sperm is sacred. Yeah. And anyway, do we really want all these extra children? No, parenting is hard now. I mean, it used to be parents would open up the door after breakfast, shoo the kids out, and say, be home in time for dinner. My spouse's mom, she raised 7 kids by herself. Everyone asks, how'd she do it? Well, I know how she did it. She opened the door and she booted them out. It's a lot easier to raise kids when you don't know where they are for 10 hours a day. The parents now, they know where their kids are every single minute of every single day. Carefully curated play dates, approved activities on the hour, every hour. They should just have those baby monitors strapped to their forehead. I call it over-functioning, and it's exhausting. Just watching my kid's parent requires a bacon maple donut and a nap after. Do you guys remember that horrible case, that young man, Brian Landry? He murdered his girlfriend, and then he disappeared for a while, and he turned up dead himself. I know, terrible case. In his backpack was a letter labeled, Burn After Reading. Written by, yeah, his mom, in which she said, honey, I love you, and if you need help, I'll be there with garbage bags and a shovel. Over-functioning. Good. No, when kids are little, over-functioning is the right thing to do. You make their meals, you clean up their shit, you complete the occasional science project or essay. It's the right thing to do. But then they grow up and those habits are hard to change. You know, kid comes home from college, you make him his favorite dinner, you do his laundry, you fold it. It's still in balance. But then, all of a sudden, they're 40 years old and grown-ass men and women, and the boundaries have got to shift. Even if he comes to you pleading with those grown-ass puppy dog eyes, you must simply say no to burying his slain girlfriend. Boundaries, people. Yeah. Excuse me. Maybe we should lighten it up a little bit. Yeah. Have you noticed that the really, really rich guys all want to go to space? I mean, I don't mean the fake rich guys like Trump, you know. Those guys, they're scaredy cats, those Trump types. They're not going to go to space. You can't mismanage your holdings or cheat on your taxes from space. But the really rich guys, they are completely into who has the biggest rocket. And they just love shooting them off, if you know what I mean. I just wonder, what do they think they're going to find up there? I mean, an Armageddon, planet-destroying asteroid kind of thing? Or aliens? Or orbiting Teslas? I've been trying to understand why people want to contact aliens. I think they're envisioning sort of an E.T. kind of situation, you know, sort of cute, bug-eyed alien who could converse with a 6-year-old after only a couple of days. I would like to point out that we humans have been sharing this planet with other sentient beings for our entire time here as Homo sapiens, about 200,000 years or so, and we have not been able to talk with a single one of them. Yes, I know. We know when our dogs want to go out. But have any of you ever had a meaningful conversation about interspecies friendship with your dog? I didn't think so. No. Yeah, well, excuse me, it's very dry up here. I think they forgot the humidifier, Carl.
Trump!
Ah, yeah. Yeah, well, I guess by now it's pretty obvious. I'm not going to be up here telling any racially or ethnically inspired jokes. I mean, look at me. No Jewish jokes, no Catholic jokes either. I'm an atheist, it's just not very funny. Yeah, what are you going to do? Well, you know, and I get that. It's wrong to use somebody else's ethnicity or race or culture to beef up my own stand-up act. But what I don't think people understand is it puts me at a huge disadvantage. I mean, what's my culture? Well, there's that salad where you mix Cool Whip and Jell-O. That's my cultural heritage. Or Frito pie. Delicious, but Frito pie. Yeah, my roots go back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where people are hospitable and friendly unless you disagree with their God-given, constitutionally protected right to carry guns to Sunday school. But other than that, you know, pretty dull. Where are my idioms? My jokes at my people's expense. I have Cool Whip salad and Frito pie. Yeah, Oklahoma, that's where I grew up. Not a ton of nice things to say about the state. They're putting themselves on the map right now by refusing federal funding to feed kids lunch during the summer. Classy move. Where will they get their Frito pie? But what we did have in Oklahoma was fluoride in the water, which is why I have such great teeth. We don't have fluoride here in Oregon. No, the anti-fluoride people are very, very concerned about putting chemicals into their bodies, which are temples and all. And I know my education in my home state may not have been the best, but aren't there a bunch of chemicals in kombucha? Yeah, those anti-fluoride people, though, they haven't really gotten their issue up into national prominence yet. You want to know how your issue has made it? You get your own presidential candidate. Yeah, back before the Christian hard right became mainstream, they had good old Pat Robertson running for president. Progressives got Bernie, Elizabeth Warren. You guys remember Marianne Williamson? Just the woo-woo community candidate. The anti-vaxxers bagged themselves a Kennedy. I thought they would have been done by now, seeing how vaccines just recently saved humanity from a Mad Max dystopia sort of situation. But no, they're running for president with a brain worm. We were worried about Biden's mild cognitive impairment. Where are my glasses?
It's on your head.
Oh. Yeah. Hey, it's summer. Does everybody love summer? Time for that perennial, unanswerable question. Why thongs? Are tan buns really that important? Do they get shown off a lot? In my experience, about 90% of the people who are exposing their buttocks do not have the sorts of buttocks one really wants to see. Now, back where I come from, thongs are shoes for feet, foot floss. Now, thongs are floss for the butt. I have enough trouble keeping my teeth flossed. Yeah. And I'm sorry, what about you men? I don't see any of you men out there wearing thongs, and you gay guys at pool parties, you don't count here, okay? Young women, I say refuse to put that thong back on until all these men agree to wear them too. I think I've just found the next feminist issue. You're welcome. So, I'm a lesbian. Thought you might want to know. I wasn't always a lesbian. In fact, I was voted by my high school class least likely to become a lesbian. But here we are. We have a lovely spouse here, almost 30 years. She went on a trip a while ago. She was gone about a week. By the third day, I was dug in on the couch, eating Pop-Tarts and Cheetos, drinking Diet Coke, binge watching all creatures small and dull. Yeah, and don't try to tell me that you keep the same routine when your spouse goes. Guys, we all know what you do. Women, we have a different approach. Whatever takes absolutely no effort, physically, intellectually, emotionally, especially emotionally, that's what we do when you're gone. Sloth porn. Yeah, I've had quite the lesbian learning curve this last 30-some years. There are a lot of rules, okay? Oh, here's a fun one. Here's a fun fact for all you straight people. Did you know that lesbians are often friends with their exes? It's true, it's a thing. It's a thing. In fact, you're kind of shunned if you aren't friends with at least one or two of your exes. Yeah. Which means that lesbian potlucks, also a thing, are just brimming with slightly uncomfortable conversations that aren't quite happening. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, and I admit, it kind of throws me. It's dry in here, Carl. Where's the humidifier? Trump! Right. Kind of throws me as a former straight woman. Yeah, back in my former life, if you had enough built up, pissed off resentment to separate or divorce, friendship was not an option. No, I have an ex-husband. We are not friends. In fact, my favorite thing to do, one of my favorite things to do, is to trash him behind his back. Now, don't get your knickers in a twist. I didn't do it when the kids were little, but they're in their 40s now, and it's all back on the table. He is the stereotypically financially comfortable old white guy. He moved to Scottsdale. He has an unearthly tan. He married his fourth wife, who is only marginally older than his daughters. We call her Nemo. Yeah. In fact, one of his daughters recently sent me a video of him practicing a ballroom dance routine. A couple of hotties in gold lame. He was wearing sweatpants. I couldn't make as much fun of it as I wanted, though, because that video arrived on the same day as my last stand-up comedy showcase here with Carl. We are just two old boomers living the dream, finding our passion. Yeah. Have you noticed that the older boomers get, the more elaborate their travel plans? Yeah, people who were perfectly content camping on a lake on Mount Hood, turn 75, and all of a sudden they're going to Sri Lanka? I cannot count the number of oldsters who are flying to Iceland to stand at the foot of erupting volcanoes. And they think that's the right thing to do? Oh, I don't know. Does it mean we oldsters don't fear death? Or we just want to go out in a splashy way? But, you know, in the ultimate boomer move, I've gone vegetarian. Not vegan, that's a food too far, but I'm not eating meat. Yeah. What that means is I'm eating things like black bean bake, tofu scramble. I tried chicken nuggets the other day. Working up to buff burgers. Yeah, I can't say any of it's too tasty, but at least I'm living or not eating my values. I am becoming very pure, though. Pretty soon I'm going to be one of those lesbians with long flowing gray hair, clear eyes, wearing a rainbow-colored caftan, and a lot of chunky turquoise jewelry. I'll be treating my body like a temple. Yes. And drinking lots of kombucha. I can see it now. I'll be doing yoga on a deck overlooking the river. When I see it, a flotilla of men drifting by, all with perfectly tanned buttocks.
Catherine Cushing, ladies and gentlemen. Catherine Cushing. Good job, Catherine. One more time for Bill and Catherine. Give them a round of applause, please. PortlandComedy.com is where you can sign up for the classes. And, you know, when Catherine started with me, she was straight, and now she's a lesbian. And we teach more than comedy, ladies and gentlemen. It's transitional comedy is what it is.
It is summer, as Catherine mentioned. You guys enjoying the summer? Yeah. When Gary and I moved here in 2001, back then they had the Beavers baseball team in Portland. Did you all go to the game? Yeah. We were excited to go to see the team, and being Portland, they brought a group of Native Americans in to sing the national anthem in their native language, and they got the words mixed up and the game was rained out. But it was otherwise... Another joke for tomorrow morning when you wake up. It's time to release, ladies and gentlemen. I have to mention, because I do have to confess something, because Catherine mentioned rich guys going to space, and I know this went entirely against our progressive values, but Gary and I, a couple months ago, bought a Tesla. I get enough from my neighbors who are all progressive. Andy, a couple doors down, he's 75. He calls us the sons of Elon. Andy's great. He's the funniest guy in the neighborhood. I went to him and I said, Andy, I lost 30 pounds and I look great. He goes, those are two different things, Cole. I'm glad you heard from Catherine because I just hope January 20th we inaugurate our first woman president. I just keep working. We'll have our first gentleman, right? Our first Jewish first gentleman. It's just doors are opening, I grew up Lutheran, which is about as boring as you can get. We have potluck suppers and hope for the best. Lutherans believe to get into heaven you have to bring a covered dish. Thank you. My grandmother I didn't follow anything in church. I didn't care about it. Some cute guys went to church. That was cool. And we're on our knees part of the time. It was the positions, actually, that attracted me. But my grandmother was, her brain was in the Reformation, and she hated Catholics. She picked up a rumor that the Catholic Church owned Pillsbury. No Pillsbury product was allowed into the house. She talked smack when I was 6, 7 years old about Catholics, Jews, black people, and homosexuals. My oldest sister married a Jewish man. My next oldest sister married a Catholic. I'm gay. My youngest sister married a black man. There you go. My grandmother has rotated. She's rolled over the grave so many times she's rotated away to China, ladies and gentlemen. And she didn't much care for Asians. It's a great place for her, is what I'm saying. All right, I want to thank you all for coming out, and you're in for a treat tonight. One of my good friends, Art Krug, is here. Art's been doing it 41 years, and there's a core group of comedians who began in Portland, Oregon. Don Green and John Wing and the late Dave Anderson and Susan Rice, Dwight Slade, and they really built comedy in this town. You're going to love them. Please welcome Art Krug, ladies and gentlemen. Art Krug.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you very, very much. Carl's done a lot for comedy. Give it up for Carl, too, for just doing this show. Yeah. Right. 41 years. This is the biggest crowd I've ever been in front of. Oh my gosh, tell you a little about myself before I started my little comedy routine here. Having a large prostate. Thank you. An irregular heartbeat, hypothyroid, and toenail fungus on my big toe. Good news is, I'm available. According to my wife, anyhow. I was kind of relieving to say, I just did a crowd for a bunch of like 20-somethings the other night, so it's nice to see people kind of in my demographic tonight, just a little bit. I can see I'm not the only person who knows who Nixon was and everything. You guys are in the younger group right here, right? Under 30, would you say? No, not so much.
40.
Okay, well, that's under 30 to me. I don't care. Close enough. Close enough. It's all in the same group, same batch. What's your gen?
I'm a millennial.
Okay, no gen. They got rid of the gens when you came along. Hell yeah.
We're cooler.
Were you bipolar? I don't hear things very well sometimes. And we do forget stuff. When you get old, man, I'm telling you, I paid for my groceries the other day. Forgot to bring them with me. Anybody done that? When you get to be this age, it's like, oh, hell no. Sir, you want your groceries? It's not like you can save your dignity at that point. You want your groceries? Oh, no, leave me alone. I don't need milk and eggs. Just back off. I just came here to pay for that shit. Leave me alone. Yeah. In fact, my friends and I get together and play what I call time-release trivia every night. Where it's like, you'll ask a question at 7:30, and movie actor, oh, no, hang on, it'll come to me. Like 2 hours later, you just interrupt the conversation. John Travolta! Way to go, buddy. Listen, angry, man. You know why you get angry when you get older? Because you're paying attention, right? Seeing all the bullshit that's going on in this country and in the world, it's hard not to be angry. But, I get angry at conversations that haven't even happened yet. That's bad. That's beyond grumpy. It'd be like this. That asshole better not tell me I can't park here. That sign says no parking 9 to 5. It's 2 after 5 if this hypothetical son of a bitch has the nerve to come over and talk about. I got some preemptive rage ready for this popcorn. Ready to go. It's not healthy. It's saying that if he does come over and say you should wait to park here, you know what I'll do? I'll move. Yes, sir, I'll move, because I'm a pussy. I'll tell you. I'll move. I was raised Presbyterian, which my dad was a preacher of the Presbyterian Church in Bend, and they kind of, it was like too nice, you know what I mean? With anger, you don't express it like Dr. Phil says. What the hell is it? No, with anger, what you're supposed to do, highly recommend this, pack it in there like gunpowder in a musket. Just tighter and tighter. Save it, store it for that till later on at some completely inappropriate moment, boom, up you go. Thanksgiving dinner just got really interesting for everybody. That's good advice. That's good advice. It is dry up here. God damn it, he's right. I swear to God, Carl, if you allow Trump to my son, I'm just like...
I'm over here, old guy.
Oh, they keep moving around. Carl, they keep moving around.
If you do 2 minutes longer than you're allowed, I'm going to be very upset.
Oh, I didn't know I was allowed a certain amount of time. Okay, all right,
It was
well...
a callback to your set that didn't work.
Oh!
No, my callback didn't work.
I don't even know. You'll have to explain what that means to me later, because I don't quite understand what you're
Your
getting.
set was great. My callback didn't work.
No heckling.
So heckling. I guess unless you run the show, there's open season on comedians. Oh, man. My wife asked me, we decided to get a bidet seat because we wanted to put the magic back in our relationship. And I didn't know what kind of, I didn't know how much to spend. And I went online, they had all a variety. I thought that'd be just like you click on a box. You want to buy this bidet seat? You get it. No, it was like they had a $49 model. Serious, which had like a cold water and a hand crank on the side, right? Like a slot machine you really don't want to pay off, right? And then they had the $249 model that actually had like remote control, which it turns out is awesome for playing practical jokes on unsuspecting. So, and all these white buttons on it, all these functions and these features, like one called the bubbling infusion. Ew, no. I don't know what that is, but yeah, no. I don't. So like, it sounds like an Alka-Seltzer enema, or like worst jazz band ever. Welcome to Newport, the bubbling infusion. Or hit single, Hot Brown Wind. They had one of the inviting nightlight, which is so scary as shit. It's just a blue light that comes up out of the pole. That, you know, it's like it's going to suck you into another dimension or time, or. And then it had the, it had, what was it? Oh yeah, the pulsing massage. They call it. Ooh, yeah, right. Except for I never really thought that I actually stored that much tension in my butthole. I thought about it, but no, I don't think that's where. It's just shoulders. For me, it's shoulders, pretty much. Right? Not so much. But, you know, they had it in there, and they had that feature. Because what happens is you turn it on, and the way it works is a little metal bar comes underneath your butt. Like that, and like, have you ever been abducted by aliens? Like, trust issues arise. Or you're gonna seriously want, at that point, pulsing massage, because it's getting tense down there. I'm sorry, that was gross, wasn't it? I apologize. I didn't mean it, but still. It's an apology of sorts. Yeah. So, my buddy asked me to go to a wine tasting party. And I don't know. I like wine. I like drinking it. And I heard it's healthy for you. I heard, I've read in a magazine that it's a glass of wine for every risk factor of a heart attack. Right? Sweet. I'm up to 8 glasses a day. Heart's beating like a champ. I tend to pee the bed every night, but you know, one thing at a time. I like the wine, I like drinking it. I just don't like talking about it, right? It gets so pretentious so quick. You know, he dragged me down to like south of Portland, to Dundee and all that running. And it was like, already, it was like 35, back then it was like $35 to get in. Just so you can listen to people talk about pretentious things, talk about that wine like it's a little teeny person, right? You know, they start talking about its nose and its legs and its body. And I'm like, yeah, you know, this one has a hair too, you're right. It's like and they start making up smells that aren't in there. You know they are, right? You know they're making that up. They gotta be, come on. Like maybe my palate's not that sophisticated. Okay, I know. I want to know what wine pairs well with Cheetos. Okay. So what? But seriously, when you start carrying on, oh, nutmeg with traces of papaya. What's the asshole in the back of the room? Grapes. It's grapes, I'm sure, I nailed it. I actually heard a waiter one time describe a wine to me as barnyardy. Seriously, barnyardy. But I'm sorry, well, thanks for the warning. I guess I'll try not to get it in my mouth, right? It's a good thing. I don't remember ever walking through a barnyard actually thinking, oh, if I could just bottle this somehow. Barnyardy. I don't think so. And then the kicker, like, you don't even get to drink it. You must know this. You have to spit it out, right? Because we wouldn't want to get drunk. You know, I think maybe I am getting drunk. I think maybe I'm getting $35 drunk that day. Getting down for not wearing pants drunk, right in there somewhere. When's the last time you went to the Outback Steakhouse? Right? My, this steak is delicious. Wouldn't want to get full tonight. No, you want to bust the pretentiousness wide open at a wine tasting sometime. I'll pass the tiniest amount of gas, and then you go, pumpkin? With a definite barnyard finish. I gotta grow up. That's great. It's been a long, long time. I gotta tell you, Carl, since I've done a show where I'm the young guy on the bill. It's been a while. Oh, God, I still haven't grown up either. That's the sad part of it. And it's, you know, getting old, too. The other thing, like, it pisses some people off. Have you noticed that? People actually get angry at you for being old. It's, I don't know if anybody else had that. Like birthday cards. Oh, my God. They just get mean, don't they? Like 40s, like, lordy, lordy, look who's 40. Okay. 50s, you're like, ain't that nifty, someone 50. You turn 60, they're like, I got you this birthday card and some diapers. Thank you. Yeah, just try not to get mad about it, that's all right. I don't know. I got a son who keeps me honest. He keeps me learning, you know, because I'm trying to, you know, I get it. Like old white guys have kind of been the dicks of the planet for like ever. I get that. I'm working on it. You know, I'm trying not to be one of those guys. I can't help the fact that I'm old and I'm white. And you know, I used to be single too. You know, still am, but I used to also. Yeah, I just. We've been had a kind of bad track record, I gotta say, and I apologize to those of you in your 30s, 30s, 40s, that the planet's only going to be for like 20 more years. Sorry, sorry from my heart, and also sorry that you got to work like 3 jobs to pay for your stupid fucking rent, right? I apologize for all of that. I'm trying to be a better man. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to learn the vernacular. My son is 22 and gay, and he helps me, keeps me honest. He keeps me learning about what you're supposed to not say and things you should be aware of and how to grow and change. And I can't believe he wants to try it, because having a comedian for a dad, that's gotta just suck. Oh my God, that poor kid. I remember when he was like, little kid, I was reading a book to him because I hear you're supposed to do that, right? That's what they say, right, Carl? You're smart, you know. Right? You're supposed to read to the kids. You don't have kids, but you probably couldn't. If you go to a park and start reading to kids, there's problems, right? I guess that's a whole other thing. But. I was trying to read in this book that was called The Little Nut Brown Hare, okay?
Wait.
The Little Nut Brown Hare, which doesn't really roll off the tongue, right? No, you know what does roll off the tongue? Little brown nut hair. So that's like 15 minutes of me explaining to my 8-year-old son why I'm laughing at everything and what therapy means and why he'll need it someday. And then, oh my God, he gets into like junior high, he gets into like middle school, and middle ages. Yeah, he went through the Middle Ages. It was weird. Long time. But yeah, when he was in like, I don't know, 9th grade or something like that, he's heading off to a party, and I remember telling him, now Liam, look, I know you're going to be going to these parties, and you're going to be doing some drinking. You know, I'm not saying I'm condoning it. I'm not saying I agree with it. I just know you're probably going to be doing it. So I just wanted to say, if you've ever been in a situation and you're thinking about, you had like 1 or 2 drinks, and you got a little buzz, and you're thinking about driving home, seriously, Liam, side streets. Father of the year. Oh my God. You don't even get to look good when you get old, man. I'm trying to lose weight, and that's harder and harder, I swear to God. Carl's saying you should remember to always talk into the mic. Well, I prefer to talk into Oh, God. Yeah. like my friends do, especially people in their 20s. Oh my God, they got it down. Yeah, all you gotta do is quit eating bananas after 9 o'clock. Shut up. You don't know what it's like to gain 3 pounds after like driving by a Burger King poster, smelling a Cinnabon in a mall. Fair. It's hard to lose weight. And everybody wants to give advice. You know, and like especially people on low carb diets, man. Oh God, and they get wound up about it too. I don't know if anybody knows, and they'll be like, oh God, guess what I had for breakfast? Oh my God, guess what I had for breakfast? You never guess. Really? You know, calm down, because they get over a little too into it. Like I knew one guy got into that Atkins diet. Serious, in the first month alone, he lost like 8 friends. Yeah. I'll try anything though, man. Actually, I love to eat. I like the food carts around town. That's fun, isn't it? All the cute colors, pinks, purples, the cute names. I was thinking about opening one myself. And hear me out before you judge. We call it My Balls to Your Mouth. I'm going to serve rice. Let them just wonder, okay? There's one sick other person in the crowd. You know where that joke went wrong? I didn't say, I'm going to call it Marvel. It would work better if I did that. Just muted it, like one of those trumpet mutes, right? Oh, yeah. I don't know. Signed up for a diet website because I wanted to do something good for myself without getting up from the computer. Seemed kind of harsh. So I should have spent more. It was $10 a month, and looking back, maybe should have chipped in a little more cash because it was just diet advice. More tips, more diet advice. $10 tips too, by the way. Stuff like instead of a dessert, why not go for a walk? Well, that's easy because I'm hungry. And I have nowhere to go. Maybe if I had a destination, like let's say a bakery, for instance. Makes sense. Or instead of a steak, why not substitute a salad? Anybody? One person back there? Okay, cool. I'm going to say for me, no. I don't think so, because salad to me is not actually a food. It's just an activity, really. Something to fiddle with while you're waiting for your meal to show up. Actual food. Salad is what you eat right before you pound down a steak, a potato, and a dessert, so you can go, oh, I shouldn't have had that salad. Croutons are huge. I'll eat anything that's trouble. I'm an omnivore. I love to eat. I ate one of those free-range chickens. You know the ones. See them in Whole Foods, New Seasons. They're allowed to run free. Pampered like the family pet. Right up until the day they killed it. Yeah, it tasted surprised. So they cut their heads off so they don't look at you like, hey, I thought you liked me. What the hell? Yeah, my vegetarian friend hates that joke a lot. Yeah, I have a friend she's like, she has this logic that you probably have heard before. She goes, would you eat a chicken if you had to kill it yourself? I'm going to say, no, gross, thank you. Just want to burn its flesh and suck on its bones. I'm not a weirdo. Me. No, I prefer to think of my chickens dying peacefully in their sleep, pretty sure. Pretty sure that's what's happening with the chickens that I eat. Family all gathered around in a circle, holding wings or whatever, and singing Kumbaya, and the doctor taking this little chicken pulse and going, well, he's gone. Seems a shame to let him go to waste, though, don't you think? What do you say we honor his memory with a little barbecue sauce and celebrate his life with Chardonnay? Because it's wine with chicken, right? Wine experts? Who knows? Why is that anyhow? Anybody have any idea why that is? Me neither. Well, white meat, so it's a racial thing. I don't know. I like wine, like I said, I just don't like talking about it. Yeah. So, my wife asked me for a tea bag squeezer for her birthday. Yep. It's an actual thing. It sounds weird and it sounds kinky, I know that, but it's not. All it is, it's just, it's like tongs that are perforated on the top, and the bottom part cups your sack. So like I said, nothing weird. And you want to look. I went online to look for it, but here's the thing about that. If you go on the internet and do a search for the tea bag squeezer, word of advice, do not click on images. Shit, you can't sweep out of there. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah. So I ended up, I didn't know where to go. I ended up going to Fred Meyer, which, I don't know if anybody's been to Freddy's lately and felt the need to get a clerk and need to talk to somebody about anything. Those poor people in there, they don't make enough money, they don't pay them enough, so they don't really know what's going on around them. And so they flee. You make eye contact with them. God forbid, it's like a frightened deer, boom, when they bolt. Right? They're coming after you. And then, so then you got to chase them down. It turns into like a game of Pac-Man going through the aisles. And then the only way to talk to them is to actually corner them back by the paint or whatever. And then you got to be really careful at that point how you say, "I'm looking for a tea bag squeezer." Meet the security guard real quick. Yeah. Yeah, and so they didn't know, and I felt bad for them, I really did, and they didn't know. They sent me off to talk to someone at Fantasy Adult Video, and I thought maybe they knew. And not a bad guess, you know, I thought, okay, let's try it. And they had a lot of grocery items. They had a lot of kitchen culinary section, large kitchen section in there. And no tea bag squeezer though. But I did go home with a box of chocolate condoms, which I actually ate on the way home. Yeah, that's why they say never stop hungry, right? Okay. Remember that laugh right there? Because that was gonna be my closer. Now I gotta kill 3 more minutes. Yeah. So just remember how good that laugh was, and I'll remind you. Okay, thanks. That's how it works. That's how you structure your set, right, company guy? Right, Carl's like, this guy, really? You're just telling setting a really bad example up here for your students, and I apologize.
No, it's really, I just need more information on that tea bag.
Tea bag item, yeah, whoa. Yeah. Yeah. Poor people, man. Fred Meyer clerks. You know who else has a suck job? Is the dollar store in my neighborhood hired a security guard. Shouldn't their shoplifting policy just be, oh, it's $1, go ahead, get us next time. Or son of a bitch, that guy's got to work, let's see, he's working at dollar store, he's got to work like 13 and a half hours, excuse me, I fucked up that joke. Remember how good that last joke was? He's got to catch 13 and a half criminals just to pay for his job. Wouldn't that have been funny if I said it right? And he's got to do it using this dollar store security kit. You know what? You're chasing after somebody with plastic handcuffs and a toy whistle. You better just hope they fall down laughing. Best chance. Hi, man. How far down the law enforcement ladder can you slide? Chasing after somebody for criminals for 4-pack of chapstick. Yeah. Not everybody's good at their job, as you've seen. The clerk in my bakery, the local bakery, had a fun time the other day with me. I went in to buy coffee. Simple, right? Oh, I'll get some coffee. And she had like these long fingernails, long thick fingernails that she was trying to work an iPad with. An iPad, clickety click, 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 tick, 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 just like a chicken pecking at a picture of corn. Just tick, 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 tick. Just incredibly futile, nothing, no heat, no nothing. And then like the 12th time, it would finally go, you know, click, and it would work. So that's what she learned. Oh, it only takes 12 times. Okay, tick, 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 pack, 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 pack. And so I'm like, I'll have a coffee, and she'll have, she goes like, would you like cream with that? And I'm like, you know what, no, I'm just gonna order it on Amazon, it'll get there quicker, don't worry about it. And I'm looking at her, and I can't hide my emotions, as you've seen, I don't hide anything on my face. I gotta look at my face like, do you need help crossing the street? What's wrong with you? But you can't say mean things like that. No, you gotta save it for later and talk about her behind her back like a gentleman. That's what I'm saying. Learning here. Oh, there goes my watch. Jeez, I'm gonna have to tidy it up here pretty quick. Yes, sir. What should I do? What should I do? Something funny would be good at this point, probably. I'm not the dumbest man alive. I know that for a fact. I quit smoking drugs at the wrong time. I do know that too. I quit smoking back a long time ago, 2003, when I had like a heart thing where it kind of quit beating on me for about 6 minutes. Yeah, I know. It gets funnier, relax. But yeah, I learned that at that moment, you tend to drop what you're doing when you don't have a pulse. Nothing quite that urgent, they can't wait. And my wife was there, she saved me, did the maneuver on me. I'm serious, my first wife, was a nurse, and I think she would have been like, "Are you all right? Get up." But yeah, she saved me, got me to the ambulance, and I had to quit smoking weed. Is the long and short of it. I didn't have to. I just didn't want to be dropping dead from the irregular heartbeat, the bad heart. And I don't smoke weed. Can you tell the way I speak? It sounds like I'm smoking weed, doesn't it? Yeah, anyhow, I quit smoking weed, which is too bad, because I was, just getting good at it. That's the thing. I was just learning how to do it. And, I smoked my share, and a couple other people's too, if I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that I was a regular smoker, and actually, it was hard to buy weed. Anybody, you guys don't know. You don't know. We had to walk both ways in bare feet. No, we had to. Back in the day, anybody remember back in the day when it was like hard to get weed? Right? You had to go meet some guy named Spike in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven. Right? Or worse, you'd have to go over to his apartment and listen to all his shitty music for 45 minutes. Right? Before he'd even bring it out to sell you. And even then, you had 2 strains of weed, 2 choices, if you will. You had here and not here. That's what you had. AKA, do you want this or don't you? Those were our choices back then. But you got it. You paid for it. And you had to, oh, God, you had to, maybe give him a hand job to prove you weren't a cop. Who remembers those things? Back in the day. But you felt like a badass. You walked out of there, I just committed a misdemeanor. You better step aside. I'm a $50 misdemeanor badass. And then it got too easy for a while. At least there was intermittent time, interim time. That's what I'm looking for. Where you had to go to the doctor and make up some lame story, right? I get anxiety every time I start to run out of weed. And then he'd write your prescription. You'd go running off to the local smokatorium, and you'd choose between 37 flavors, and and then it just got easier and easier. I remember back in the day, getting some weed, like smoking it and then walking home because I didn't want to drive in that condition. I had flown into this town and I was doing a show there. Walking back, stumbled across the Burger King. The only thing open was the drive-through part of the Burger King, right? Nobody else ever walked through the drive-through?
Yeah.
You've done that, right?
I
So,
have, yeah.
you know what it's like then. You lose a little sense of your like humanity. You're standing in line behind a Buick or whatever. Like, did you get up to the window and feel kind of obligated to stand sideways to the window? Like maybe she won't notice I don't have my car. That's why they say never shop hungry. Good night, I'm gonna call that good.
Keep it going for our crew, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, sir. That was so nostalgic for me. I remember the 80s when I would jerk off guys to prove I wasn't a cop. I didn't even want the weed. I just... One more time for my good friend Art Career. We had a show in St. Helens. How many years ago was that? We drove to St. Helens and they said, wrong night. What was it?
20 years ago.
20 years ago. Jesus Christ. All right. Did you enjoy the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen? How about a big hand for Bill Estefano, who worked so hard for Bill. Catherine Cushing, ladies and gentlemen. Our crew. We do second Sunday, obviously, the second Sunday of every month, so tell your friends. We have great lineup comic coming up in September. In fact, Molly McNabb is here. She'll give Molly a round. She'll be on the next second Sunday. Mike Schreiber will be on the next second Sunday. And you can find out more about the classes and all the great shows, including improv shows here at portlandcomedy.com. You've been a great crowd. Thanks for coming out on the Sunday night. Thank you.